I never thought a trash can could become the center of so much pain, anger, and eventually healing. It all started one cold Monday morning. I stepped out of my house, coffee in hand, ready to drag my trash bin back from the curb. Instead, I found it lying sideways, split open like a crushed soda can. The lid was shattered, wheels torn off, garbage spilling out across my driveway. I felt my chest tighten. This wasn't the first time. Not again, I muttered, clenching my fist. And I knew exactly who was behind it: Karen, my next-door neighbor. She was notorious on our street for her flashy SUV and reckless driving. Every week she'd speed down the cold ass. More often than not, my trash bin would end up flattened under her tires. At first, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe she didn't see it. But after the fourth time, I realized it was no coincidence. That morning, as I picked up broken pieces of plastic, Karen herself walked out of her house, sunglasses perched on her head. She saw me and smirked. "Oh, did your little trash can have an accident again?" she said mockingly, sipping her latte. I froze. "You did this, didn't you?" She shrugged, not even bothering to deny it. "Maybe if you didn't put it so close to the road, it wouldn't keep getting in my way." My jaw tightened. "It's trash pickup. Where else am I supposed to put it?" Karen rolled her eyes and walked to her car. Not my problem. Her words burned in my chest. It wasn't just about the trash can anymore. It was about respect, about dignity, about standing up when someone keeps stomping all over you. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the broken bin. My hands trembled not with fear, but with resolve. I whispered to myself, if she wants to keep running over my trash can, let's see how she handles one made of concrete. I wasn't the kind of man who looked for fights. At 62, I'd learned that peace was worth more than pride. But sometimes, peace needed defending. The next morning, I drove down to the hardware store. I bought several heavy-duty cinder blocks, rebar, and a bag of concrete mix. The cashier raised an eyebrow. "Big project?" he asked. I just smiled faintly. You could say that. Over the next 2 days, I worked quietly in my garage. I built a trash can unlike any other hollow shell that looked like a normal black bin from the outside. But inside, it was reinforced with solid concrete walls. It weighed over 300 pounds. No SUV was going to knock this one down. As I worked, I thought about my late wife. Mary, she used to tell me, "Don't let people treat you like you're invisible. You matter, Bill." Her voice guided me, giving me the strength to finish what I started. Finally, the day came. I wheeled my trash tank out to the curb. It scraped across the pavement, heavy and unmovable. I leaned against my mailbox, pretending to read the newspaper, my heart pounding. Sure enough, at 8:15 sharp, Karen's SUV roared down the street. She was on her phone, one hand waving dramatically as she talked. And then wham. The sound was deafening. Metal against stone. Her SUV jolted like it had hit a brick wall. The front bumper cracked, and the right headlight shattered. The trash can didn't budge an inch. I bit my lip to stop myself from laughing, but inside, I felt a rush of satisfaction. Karen slammed her brakes and jumped out, her face twisted with rage. "What the hell is this?" she screamed, inspecting the damage. I walked over calmly, hands in my pockets. "Looks like you hit my trash can again. This isn't a normal trash can," she shouted, kicking it uselessly. I shrugged. "City issued. Same size, same color. Only difference is it's not made of cheap plastic." Her face turned red. "You'll pay for this, old man. You've damaged my car." I leaned closer, my voice steady. "No, Karen, you damaged your own car. Because you couldn't be bothered to drive carefully." For once, she had no comeback. She stormed off, muttering threats under her breath, and for the first time in months I felt free, or so I thought. I should have known Karen wouldn't let it go. The very next evening, I received a knock on my door. It was the HOA president, Mr. Thompson. He was a tall, thin man with a permanent scowl. "Mr. Johnson," he said curtly, We've received a complaint about your trash receptacle. Apparently, it's hazardous. I sighed. Let me guess, Corinne. He adjusted his glasses. That's irrelevant. What matters is that your bin is unusually heavy and reinforced. That's against HOA guidelines. My blood boiled. Guidelines? Show me where it says I can't protect my property from being destroyed every week. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat. You'll need to remove it immediately or face fines. I clenched my fists. This wasn't about a trash can anymore. It was about control. Karen had the HOA wrapped around her finger. That night, as I sat on the porch, my neighbor, Mrs. Davis, walked over. She was in her late 70s, always kind and gentle. I heard what happened, she said softly. Don't let them bully you, Bill. Everyone knows Karen's the one causing trouble. Her words comforted me, but then she hesitated, lowering her voice. Still, be careful. People like her don't stop until they get what they want. Sure enough, Karen escalated. She started spreading rumors, telling neighbors I was unstable and dangerous. One morning, I found a note taped to my door. Move out if you can't follow the rules. For the first time, doubt crept into my heart. Maybe I'd gone too far. Maybe I should have just let it go, but then something happened that changed everything. Late one night, I was taking out a small bag of garbage when I saw headlights swerving wildly down the street. It was Karen again. Only this time, she wasn't alone. Her teenage son was behind the wheel. He looked terrified, struggling to control the SUV. My heart dropped, and in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about saving lives. I rushed into the street, waving my arms. Stop the car. The SUV screeched, barely missing the mailbox. Karen stumbled out of the passenger seat, pale and shaken. Her son looked on the verge of tears. He almost hit the trash can. She shouted, "He could have wrecked." I took a deep breath, trying to steady my voice. Karen, this isn't about the trash can. This is about the way you live your life, always speeding, always reckless, always thinking nothing will ever stop you. But one day, it could cost more than a bumper. It could cost your son's life. For once, she didn't snap back. She just stood there, trembling, eyes darting between me and her boy. Her son whispered, "Mom, maybe he's right." The street was silent. Only the sound of crickets filled the air. Finally, Karen lowered her head. Her voice cracked. I didn't realize. That night, something changed. She never apologized directly, but from then on, she slowed down. She gave me space. And my trash can, it stayed standing. Weeks later, I noticed her son mowing Mrs. Davis's lawn, helping her carry groceries. Karen started waving, awkwardly but sincerely, whenever she saw me outside. And me. I learned something too. Sometimes, standing your ground isn't about winning. It's about teaching. About opening someone's eyes before it's too late. As I sit on my porch now, sipping my coffee, I look at that concrete trash can. It's more than just a bin. It's a reminder that dignity matters, that courage has power, and that even the hardest people can change when they're faced with the truth. So if you're listening to my story today, ask yourself, what's your concrete trash can? What's that one thing in your life you need to stand up for, no matter how small it seems? Because sometimes, the smallest battles teach the biggest lessons. Asterisk, this story is just the beginning. There is so much more ahead. Subscribe to the channel to join me on this journey.